the valley bed, where they'll face a series of challenges involving ropes, rocks, and a 50-pound backpack. Climbing all the time, they'll carry their burdens for another 2 miles through the clouds to the finish line near the mountain rescue station at Penna Pass.
And in they go. The waters of Llyn Gwynant, even in high summer, are always cold enough to numb the senses. No one swims for fun here. And predictably, it's Robin Brew, RAF PTI and the British Olympic swimming team captain, who's first to the pontoon. He'll be pleased to have taken an early advantage over the two racing for second place, England rugby man Chris Martin and Royal Marine Bernie Shrewsbury. Fourth man to arrive is David Bishop, the Welsh rugby player.
Up front, though, Robin Brew is increasing his lead over Chris Martin, number 7, and Bernie Shrewsbury, number 4. They've got about 50 yards to make up now. Ian Fox, the outdoor pursuits instructor, was almost last to the pontoon, but quickly shows his canoeing skills to advantage.
Leader Robin Brew is already into the neck of the river and looking delighted with the way things are going for him. Never having taken part in this kind of event before, he's no way of judging the strength and ability of the others. He does know of the reputation of one of them at least, though. This man, Bernie Shrewsbury, the Royal Marine, who has won survival of the fittest twice before.
Pacing himself well in third position now is Peter Albersberg of the Dutch Royal Marines, and fifth is Peter Spence, an outdoor pursuits man from Ulster. And a man disappointed with his performance so far is Army PTI Jim Wood, last year's overall winner.
England international and Bath rugby fullback, the big Cornishman Chris Martin, did well in the swim section, but his lack of canoeing experience has set him back. He's keeping a straight line now, though. The other rugby man, Welsh international David Bishop, the Pontypool scrum half, is another raw canoeist. He's found that it's nothing like as easy as it looks.
Brew still has that clear lead, but he knows he's being shadowed by the man from the Marines. Irishman Spence, an able canoeist, has moved into third position, whilst behind they're starting to bunch, with the Dutch Marine and the British soldier battling it out for fourth at this stage.
The rugby player, Martin, has now been fought by expert paddler Ian Fox. And Welsh rugby is doing a little better now. Bishop's learned how to keep his line.
Another stage of the race over for the leader, Olympic swimmer Robin Brew. Maybe, though, he's getting a little anxious. While he's going extremely well, he has every reason to be concerned about the man trailing him. 26-year-old Marine, Bernie Shrewsbury, a superb natural athlete. Can he catch the leader on the running stage? But Brew also has good legs, and he seems to be away again. Irishman Pete Spence is the next man in.
Army PTI Jim Wood, a former captain of the British Olympic biathlon team, doesn't often find himself in fourth position. But there's a long way to go, and he'll fight all the way.
In fifth position, the tough Marine from the Netherlands. He's a good runner too, but Peter Albersberg, like Ian Fox, in sixth place, and the others behind, are now a good 10 minutes adrift of the front runner, Robin Brew, still moving with confident strides towards the higher ground. Chris Martin has no claims to being a canoeist, and he'll be more than glad to join the runners.
Robin Brew finds that hauling one's body weight over a high rock in the middle of such a race puts awful pressure on legs and lungs. Perhaps, too, his heart misses a beat as he observes Bernie Shrewsbury getting close.
And now for those sand-filled backpacks. An extra 50 pounds to carry and 1,000 feet to climb makes the rest of the race a daunting prospect. But these men are super fit. And none fitter than Marine Shrewsbury. He's performed this kind of exercise many times. The order of the second batch hasn't changed, but biathlete Wood is tightening on Irishman Spence and still holding off the Dutchman, Albersberg.
The middlemen are not showing quite the same confidence on the rock as did the two leaders, but it's getting more slippery as the rain worsens, so more caution is called for.
As Wood and Albersberg wisely decide to move on and strap up later, Spence, who was first off the rock, hesitates and consequently slips from 3rd to 5th place. Ian Fox, the local man's not so far behind now. His knowledge of the terrain could help him on the last stage.
Back at the river, looking perhaps a little forlorn, is David Bishop. There's no substitute for experience in an event like this. His rugby rival, Chris Martin, is also glad to be on dry land, and he's starting to enjoy the event. A big man, he should relish the rope work and take the rock in his stride. But although it stopped raining for the moment, that rock is still greasy. He'll want to avoid any mishaps here. If he stays in 7th place, he'll score 2 points. Not a great haul for this first event, but they could prove vital later.
Chris knows, of course, that the boys who are battling it out for the maximum 8 points are out of sight now. He also knows that the most strenuous part of the event is yet to come.
The fury of Snowdonia's streams has been doubled by a month of almost incessant rain. But the soaking ground seems to suit the Marine, who has closed the gap on the swimmer in front down to 40 yards.
And behind them, there's not much between the 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th place men. Brew mustn't put a foot wrong now if he's to fight off the challenge of the tough and wily Shrewsbury, who's still in close attention. And as the two leaders begin the major ascent, a mile behind them, down in the valley, David Bishop gallantly plods on.
There's no disgrace in being last in this kind of event. To survive is the main thing. And this young man knows that he has the running legs to match the others. He might have a better chance in some later events when bursts of speed can decide the issue.
It's now Jim Wood who's leading that gang of 4 in the middle towards the high climb. And way above them, Robin Brew begins to feel the strain of...
To know where they stand with him.
When you were commanding 7th Armoured,
and always that glance behind to see how the Marine is doing. Well, Bernie's still got the leader in his sights, but there are signs that he may be slowing down.
Well, if it's cat and mouse up front, there's a similar battle going on behind too. Jim Wood is in danger of being caught by Ian Fox, who's done superbly to move up so quickly. Peter Spence really struggling with the bulk of that backpack, and he's beginning to feel the strain of it all. And with so much yet to do.
It's a tremendous contest for first place now, as the two leaders make for the next rock outcrop with the rain teeming down. Only 20 yards between Brew and Shrewsbury now, and the legs of both men must feel as if they're turning to lead. Every time the Marine gains a yard, the swimmer somehow finds enough in reserve to steal it back.
The gap is squeezed yet again. Every single step is crucial now. And as another cloud bursts above, a superhuman effort from Bernie Shrewsbury brings him almost into touching distance of Robin Brew. But the pace setter changes gear yet again and accelerates away. Shrewsbury put everything into that final challenge, and he now knows that the man in front can't be caught today. And the modest Marine will be the first to acknowledge a magnificent performance by Olympic swimmer and RAF PTI Robin Brew. He took the lead at the start and never lost it.
Bernie's been in the Marines for 8 years. He's excelled in outdoor sports and has twice overcome tremendous competition to win the survival of the fittest contest. The Marines' determination and consistency are phenomenal, and although he's dropped a point here, he'll be back in the next event with his strongest virtue, an all-consuming will to win.
Another who doesn't like coming second, last year's winner, Jim Wood. He's been overtaken by the diminutive Ian Fox. Almost last in the swim section, he's going to get third place barring mishaps on the run-in. A tremendous recovery.
And with Robin Brew at last on the home stretch, Jim Wood will know that the distant applause is for a very worthy winner.
As Superstars champion, Robin Brew must now surely be one of the favourites for this year's survival of the fittest. His time, 40 minutes, 34 seconds. Bernie Shrewsbury finishes in 41 minutes, 1 second. So at the end, 27 seconds between them.
Robin, great start. You seem to steal a lead on the first section, hold on to it all the way. Was it like that?
Yeah, I knew that these guys are great on the hills and good on the canoe. I had to get there first and just get out and hang on. That was the hardest thing, knowing they were behind you, not knowing whether they're going to take you on the run or on the hill, or I just whacked.
I'm pleased with that, really. I mean, funny enough, I'm quite surprised to get second, really. Not sort of knocking myself down, but there's some fit boys here today.
Walking up it yesterday, you thought, well, I could run this bit and maybe I could jog this bit. You just can't run up there. You got to hands and knees and go. But, I'm delighted.
These big swimming boys, you know, it's quite hard. And they got a little lead like he had. I thought I caught him up at one stage, but I obviously had to work too hard to catch up with the swimming and the canoeing, as you saw, I was behind. But
I thought he was going to overtake me at one stage on the hill, but I was lucky enough to be on a... Well, it was difficult to overtake, I'm sure, I tell you, especially climbing. And then it just seems a straightforward route. You can't get round, because if you try and go round, you've got boulders and things in your way.
But a marvellous start.
Pleased, very pleased.
The race for third place is over, as Ian Fox holds off Jim Wood, who just couldn't find his past form. 6 months ago, Jim was laid low by pleurisy, and possibly its effects linger on. This man, though, will make no excuses, for it's been a good contest, and he'll applaud a fine race by the tenacious Ian Fox. To have overcome such a disastrous start, Ian perhaps deserves more than the 6 points he'll get for finishing third.
Ian, tremendous start. Pleased with that?
Everything apart from the swim. It's a bit tough in the water there.
Where did you come out of the swim? Were you way back on the swim?
That second to last, I think. So, it's not my strong point, as I think it shows.
Jim Wood finishes fourth in 43 minutes, 40 seconds.
Believes that one's over, Jim.
Yeah, I reckon.
Oh. Did you hold fourth position all the way?
No, I thought it was pulling back on Bernie and Robin, but I got hopelessly lost coming out the waterfall. Next thing I turned around at the top and he was right me back. So I obviously went wrong somewhere.
Peter Olbersberg, the Dutchman, happy to be on comparatively level ground again. And Peter Spence, finally left behind by both Jim Wood and the durable Dutchman Olbersberg, whose finishing time of 45.03 is still only 4.5 minutes slower than the winner, Robin Brew.
The canoeing section let Chris Martin down, but with half a mile to go, he still has a spring in his step.
Peter, you said you'd know a lot more after the endurance run. Sober.
So I know a lot more now.
Tougher than you thought, or about the same?
No, I know that I get some problems with the mountains. I know that before I start. So when I get the problems.
A lot of slipping and sliding?
No.
No? Good.
Spikes.
Then that worked well.
Yeah.
The right strategy there.
Yeah. No, everything is okay.
So you know who your main opposition is now?
Yeah, I know.
Irishman Spence, determined to finish in style. And David Bishop, simply determined to finish.
Peter Spence's final sprint is as fast as anybody's, but he's more than 10 minutes slower than the winner.
Get rid of this quick.
16-stone Chris Martin just had too much to do after his disastrous canoe section.
The canoeing bit.
Wasn't too bad, but, you know, I did a lot after my bad swim, you know, wasn't too good. Had to resort to the British stroke. Shock of the water.
It was so cold.
Well, it was cold enough, you know. It's all right.
What was the most difficult bit apart from that?
Well, as you can probably see the size of my legs, I don't do an awful lot of running. The lactic on the hills there was extraordinary, you know. You know, it wasn't a question of, like, being out of breath. It was just a question of being able to move the muscles, you know, which was a bit confusing.
There's already friendly rivalry between the Welsh and English rugbymen, and David Bishop would be amused if he could see the triumphant style of Chris Martin's finishing sprint.
52 minutes. Just tuck it. 2, 3, 4.
Have you back? There you go.
Well done. Oh, what? Where's the vodka? Who won?
Robin Brew.
Did he?
Yes.
Christ.
Held the lead from the start and got all the way there.
Nearly caught him in the swim, though.
No.
Yeah, I nearly
Really?
caught him in the swim.
But you had problems with the canoeing?
Yeah, I couldn't get it right. The old technique let me down a bit, yeah.
And it was windy out there?
Well, just a little bit. If it wasn't for that, I would have been all right, but kept going sideways and hopeless, really. I should have been an airline pilot. Oh, his job is easy.
Behind right from the start. The canoeing didn't work.
No, I told you I couldn't canoe. I was just glad to get out without getting wet.
You survived it all right. In fact, by the time you got to the mouth of the river, it was going a lot better, wasn't it?
Well, I made sure the two boys were behind me just in case. But I mean, I could never recover from that.
No.
It was hard coming up the hill and all that, but just glad to finish.
So there on, after you knew you were set in last place, you tactically decided you'd stay there for this one and save it, did you?
Yeah, it was just to complete it, really. You know, there was no way. By the time I came to the power station, I could see, I don't know who it was, the last man. He
he was near the top of the first, so really it was just to dig in and try and finish. Glad the first one's over.
Great. The lads are over there. I think they've got a few jars for you.
I thought they were all being back to the hotel by now.
Well, a superb all-round performance puts Robin Brew on top of the list after the first challenge. But there are 8 events to go, each one a test of strength and courage. The competition will intensify over the next 2 courses, an abseil down a vertical rock face and a raft race down the Trwyren River in full flood. There's no doubt, though, the first day belonged to the versatile British swimming star, Robin Brew.